Hello there. If you're considering bringing Cosmic Ghost Rider to the Grandmasters Gauntlet, then this is the video for you, because I'm pretty much going to explain every single little tip and trick that you need to know, every rotation that you should use for each fight, which fights you should take with CGR, which fights you should absolutely avoid, and all of that stuff. So yeah, if you're new to the channel, welcome. I'm the CGR guy pretty much. If you want any more CGR content, it's all over my channel. It's pretty much my main focus still for the last 2 years, so I'll teach you everything you need to know. Just make sure to like, subscribe, all that stuff that YouTubers tell you to do, and yeah. So I'm going to try to keep this video as concise as possible, and I'm going to go about it by separating all of these opponents into 4 different tiers. So tier 1 being the easiest and tier 4 being the most difficult. I know that might sound backwards to some people, but listen, it makes sense to me, alright? So I'm going to be going along based on the tiers and not like the order of the opponents, just to kind of shed light and keep it organized. I don't know, just go with it, alright? Alright, so the first tier is called Very Realistic, because I believe these are some of the more realistic fights that you can do with CGR. So Terrax, pretty easy fight. If you have a higher ranked CGR, even a 5-star maxed out will work. Of course you can slap on a Cosmic Power Boost as well, that's going to help tremendously in this fight. And if your CGR is awakened, you're going to be nullifying this indestructible buff, and you're going to keep it from triggering, which is going to help you in the long run. So yeah, pretty simple fight. You can burst him down really fast. Just keep cycling special 2s, keep him in the rock field. It's going to be pretty easy with this 200% increased combat power rate, and even a little bit of this powerful from afar node. Next up is this dude. He might look scary because, you know, Vision has synthesis. Don't worry about it, because this dude, he's only level 75, so he gains about 21% of his power when it does trigger. And Surging Vengeance, he will throw his special 1, then his special 2, then his special 3. So what you want to do with CGR is build up the aptitude rotation, and then as you do that, you want to bait out his special 1, you want to bait out his special 2, and then you don't want to bait out a special 3. So once you bait a special 2, you can go for the power gain buff. You don't really need to worry about his power at that point, because he's power locked, and even though he might have a special 1 or a special 2 at that point, he's not going to throw it as you're spamming heavies in the corner. If you don't know what the aptitude rotation is, I'm going to leave that in the description and the pinned comment. This video, I'm not really going to explain how to do any rotations, because since you're considering bringing CGR into content as difficult as this, I'm going to assume that you have some pre-established knowledge of how to play the character. And if you don't, I have guides for that, so I'm here to help you out. But yeah, this guy is pretty easy. I soloed him in 55 seconds without boost. I probably wouldn't have done it much faster with boost anyway, because the CGR is super fast. So yeah, pretty simple fight. Bait special 1, bait special 2, aptitude rotation, he's dead, the end. Alright, next up is this guy. If you're running Despair, that mastery is going to help a lot because of those armor breaks. It's going to be reducing this dude's regeneration and stuff. In fact, I don't know what buff duration does on him, it doesn't matter. His nodes don't really matter that much. But yeah, Despair is going to help reduce this guy's regen. I think Despair is a must-run mastery anyway, so it's probably not even worth mentioning. And if your CGR is awakened, he's going to heal block him with that Damnation debuff whenever you get to 5 Judgments, so you're going to pretty much shred right through this guy. It's basically a nodeless Weapon X. I think I have videos of my CGR soloing nodeless Weapon X's. I think I strangely might have done it twice already, so I'll see if I can find that, and I'll leave it linked as well, or you can honestly just Google it somewhere. I think it's pretty easy to find. He just nukes Weapon X really well, so yeah, not a difficult fight at all. I mean, you do have to be careful, and you have to manage his unblockable and his unstoppable, but other than that, it's a pretty simple fight. After that, we have Black Panther Civil War. This guy is not too difficult. He has Footloose, he has Armored Assault and Arc Overload, so he's gonna be going, you know, unstoppable and gaining that evade buff whenever he throws a special attack, and then yeah, he's gonna have that unblockable as well with the Armored Assault and the Arc Overload combination. But if your CGR's Awakened, I'm gonna keep saying that term, if your CGR's Awakened, then you're gonna be fate sealing him. So he's not gonna be gaining those buffs, and yeah, you're gonna beat the crap out of him. So either cycle special 2s in this fight to have a kind of safer, more frequent armor break, uptime, and also damnation, or you can go for like longer term damage and kind of burst him down with the cycle of the aptitude rotation. The last very realistic fight I have here is Nick Fury. This guy's really simple. If you have Despair and your CGR's Awakened, then these regen nodes mean nothing to you, and the only thing that matters is kinetic transference, and that only really matters whenever he throws a special 1 into your block. So as long as you're baiting those special 2s, you're going to be fine. I've soloed the Eternity of Pain Nick Fury with CGR several times for fun. It's not that difficult, and yeah, Despair will help if you manage to kill the life model decoy while he's at 5 judgments. Since technically he would be removing the judgments, it would inflict the 5 armor breaks, so you would have like 70 something percent reduction to healing, and he would only heal to like 50%. Or you could just do the force close bug on this guy. You just better hope you kill him quick. So those are all the tier 1 fights. Pretty simple, pretty realistic. I think a lot of players can accomplish that if they have a pretty basic understanding of CGR's like aptitude rotation or like his basic special 2-wing cycle. So yeah, let me know if you have any questions about that. And yeah, we're going to move on to the fairly realistic stage now. So fairly realistic CGR fights, you don't really want to use him for some of these. Like, he could probably take MODOK pretty well. I don't know about a solo, but well, he could probably solo him, because the main problem here is this hard knock life node. So I mean, as long as you're careful, you could maybe get some kind of rotation on him. I'm not sure. I'm not even sure. But it's definitely possible. There are better options, of course. You're gonna have other champions in your team. I'm just telling you what's the best way to approach each of these fights. Like, if you're being held at gunpoint, you have to use CGR on this fight. Special 3 rotations, alright, because he's going to be auto-blocking a lot. You don't really want to go for special 2, so he wouldn't be horrible for this, but I definitely would not recommend it purely because of that block proficiency reduction. Alright, next up on the fairly realistic, whatever I'm calling it, is Nightcrawler. You could turn off his evade, because the only really concerning thing here is the evade. I mean, you could do that and then kill him with an aptitude rotation or some special 2 cycles. It's not really the most practical thing, because the next fight is another evade champion, so I'm just gonna assume that on your team you're gonna have some kind of evade counter, so why not use that evade counter on Nightcrawler as well? I'm just saying, CGR probably could take this guy if you really needed him to. It's not that hard, but why not bring your evade counter here? Next up, we have Apocalypse. This guy, he's pretty nasty. I gotta say, this one is kind of a cut below the rest, but I wanted to keep it in like 4 different tiers. So the problem with him is this, for starters, because this is pretty much when you bring a hero into the fight, they act as a mutant. So he gets all of his genetic code or whatever it is, he gets his 4 persistent charges, so then if he hits into your block twice, you're gonna get stunned. And that's just gonna mess up a lot of your like attempted rotations and stuff. CGR, you could burst him down, I think, with a few revives. I don't really think a solo is super realistic for this. I think I can do it, but I'm not gonna sit here and be like, oh, you can play him like me when I've been doing this for 2 years. I don't want to lead anyone astray, so that's pretty bad, and this is pretty bad as well. Ooh, sorry about that. This is pretty bad because it's gonna reduce your buffs by like 5 seconds, so your power gain buff does not exist in this fight, so that automatically messes up several of your rotations. So I wouldn't recommend CGR against this guy. He could do it in a few revives. I think that's pretty realistic, but he's definitely not the best counter. There's also this Killmonger. I have not soloed this with CGR yet, but I think I've seen other people do it. I forget who, but I'll probably show it on screen right now. The only reason this fight is difficult with CGR is because of Polka Dot power. Now, if your CGR is awakened, then technically your Damnation debuff counts as a damage over time debuff. So you'll gain a little bit of power whenever your judgments are in the process of resetting, but that's going to be difficult because you can't gain power, so you only really have access to vigilance, precision, power gain, and aptitude, and then you have to get hit for the armor up to get to the 5th judgment, so that's not practical at all. You could launch Special 1 and stuff, you could maybe get to Special 3, I don't even think power boosts work here, so otherwise I would have mentioned that. Yeah, you could probably solo this guy, maybe you could get a Special 3 in there, or just some Special 2s or something, but not very realistic, although I'm gonna be trying it out for myself anyway. Alright, so that's Tier 2 done, so we're going to move on to Tier 3 now, which is called Slayer is a Trained Professional, do not try this at home. So, unless you really have to do these fights with CGR, don't plan for it, alright? You have 4 other team slots, alright? First up is Thing. There's nothing here that's really stopping you from using CGR. You can play around Thing with CGR, but you're not going to be able to Fate Seal him, you're not going to be able to Armor Break him, he's going to be going unblockable, so you're probably going to Dex a lot. There goes your Special 2s. If you hit too hard, you're going to trigger Protection. Like, this just sucks. Okay, you could do it. Do I want you to do it? No, I don't want to tell anyone to put themselves through this. This is not a small guy. He's got 771,000 health. But could it be done? Yeah, for sure it could be done. Should it? No. Same for this guy, although I still want to try this guy. Mixmaster, Flux Dispersal, however you say this one. Very difficult combination. CGR can do Mixmaster, he can also do Tunnel Vision, you can just parry light, medium, you know, parry light, medium, I don't know, there's this, I don't remember it right now, but there's a way to counter it, alright, please believe me. But it's also hard to parry Korg, so you'd have to get rid of his Rock Sacks first, or you could bring Magneto House of X pre-fight, that's also good. But yeah, I mean, I would not recommend this fight with CGR. You definitely want a really solid counter from this guy. Next up is Dragon Man. I'm delusional enough to believe that maybe I could solo this with CGR if I, you know, hold on from triggering armor breaks, and I think I could set something up where I could burst kill him super fast. He's only got 750,000 health. That's not that much, right? He is immune to stun though, so that's kind of rough. Just don't do this with CGR. You're gonna degen if you armor break him. Just don't, okay, please. Next up, we got Domino. This one's not as bad. There's Power Shield, Matador, so you could, like, bait a couple special ones without dexing, you know, just parry them. Throw a special 2, get some nice crit in there, and kill her, like, in a cycle or two. If you don't get unlucky and she evades or just finds one of her billion ways to ruin your life. Alright, so that's all of Tier 3. Now we're going to move on to Tier 4, which is called Slayer's Nightmare Fuel. Do not make eye contact with them. These fights, I'm not even going to try. Fuck these fights. Dr. Doom, fuck you. Spider-Ham, fuck you too. Mojo, you ugly piece of shit. No. Sorry. No. Actually, not sorry. No. Don't do it. There's so many counters to this guy. Don't do it. You could probably burst him down, but don't. Also, no. So yeah, that's pretty much all of the fights with CGR. As far as Nameless Thanos goes, even though he's called Nameless here, and Nameless Collector is called Nameless Collector. Whatever, that makes sense. For his special one, like phase 1, whatever the hell it's called, it's a bleed phase. CGR's immune to bleed. Special 2, you have to like dex it and stuff, which isn't like great. And yeah, he's good for Nameless Thanos. You could probably burst him down with CGR. So yeah, that's pretty much my advice for using CGR in the Grandmaster's Gauntlet. Feel free to leave any questions in the comments. I'll make sure to get back to you and just try to help out as much as I can. As far as my run goes, I'm gonna wait until Apocalypse's persistent ability bug is fixed, because apparently his evade counter does not persist between fights, which is really gonna suck for Nightcrawler and Spider-Gwen. I think his immunities as well. I don't know. He's just broken. I'm gonna wait it out. If you want to see me stream something dumb tomorrow, though, I'll be tackling the Attorney of Pain Acceptance as soon as it drops, so yeah. Thank you very much for watching. If this was helpful, make sure to leave a like, let me know your thoughts, and yeah, have a absolutely outstanding day. Take care, and farewell.